Hi everybody, I've just started recording.
Okay.
Welcome to
Hi.
Pizazz News. Today I have with me the beautiful Lexi Miles. She is an author of romance novels. Hello Lexi.
Hello, Tasha. Or do you like to write Tash?
Thank you. You can call me Tash or Tasha, it's okay.
Okay, I'll call
So,
you Tash.
thank you so much for joining me. I got
Thank
the
you for
time
having
right.
me.
I got the time right. So yeah.
Yes.
I thought it'd be very interesting to have you here because I've been following you for a while on Twitter and Instagram, and I really I like the way that you're so positive with your books, and you really are yourself, and I love that. I really love that, and I'm just
Thank you, Tash.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm a huge fan of Custom Fit, your novel, Custom Fit.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, because I haven't read a romance novel since I did romance and realism at uni before I did my law degree, and I was doing literature, and I really struggled with that subject because I was more realism than romance, and in fact, that's actually what my lecturer wrote. He wrote, "There's not much of an understanding of romance here," and he asked me to actually give him more writing. So it's an area that I thought I need an expert, and you're an expert.
Thank you, sweetie. Well, I'm happy to be here.
In romantic literature, how many books have you done?
Well, as far as the ones that I've already published out there, I believe it's either 6 to 8 books that I have out there right now. However, I have a few that are about to push out, about 3 or 4 different ones that are about to push out. So I find that, I love to, I've worked with traditional publishers, and I've worked with, I've done like the Gambit. Yep. So I've worked with traditional and that, and I just really, I love the fact of how I can put out pretty much, I actually have control of my schedule because of the way it is. It's a hybrid publisher, and that might not make any sense, but basically, story short, they let you have a little more freedom as an author. So if I get inspired, I'm like, I really want this story to be out there and to be told, I can have that happen,
Wow. I don't, to be honest with you, I'm in the dark about publishers, and so I didn't know that there was a classification called hybrid publishers, but it sounds interesting. So they kind of give you more freedom to go in whatever direction your books are going.
Yes.
So am I right in, because I might not be, in the romance genre of literature, in romance writing, that's basically, is that like a really big area that covers many different kinds of writing?
Yeah. Basically it has it does span a lot of, like, it goes across the board. There's a lot of different things that you can write. You can write, well, I like to break it down by flavors. And so you
got 4 flavors.
I do.
And then tell everybody what your flavors are, because they're pretty delicious.
Okay. All right.
So let's see. Sexy Lexi has 4 flavors in her writing. So she does her books. Her books fall into 4 flavors.
Thank you so much, Tosh. Okay, so basically I have the 4 flavors. It ranges from mild to basically hot. I have a sweet flavor. That's something that you're going to kind of see more on like a Hallmarky kind of thing. So you'd see that, and like, just really sweet, and there's that. And then the next flavor would be fire, and so that one's a little more steamy. I love to live there because it's more of the
jumped from sweet to fire.
Fire, I know. But then I have the 3rd degree though, and well, because fire kind of can do a range. It could either be super spicy, or like woo, or it can also be like more of the hotter things that you might see on TV.
Okay.
So it has like a little bit of a range, but I like to play with the spicy.
Okay.
So there's that, and then
fire is still something that you could see on TV.
Yeah. So It's still something you can see on TV, but sometimes it can push the envelope. So, however, some of the details, though, they are, it's a romance book, so I don't skimp on the details.
It's not 50 Shades of Grey area, is
No.
it?
Not quite there, but the next one that I do write in, it is Alarm, and that's more 50 Shades of Grey. That's more, it's a little more.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I know. Right?
It's a progression, because you just don't start off at the other end, do you, Lexi?
No, no. I've
tried to say that to men at various times in my life when I was being like, more romantic,
right?
But,
pace it, honey.
Don't start there. Go back a bit. I think women can relate to that.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's nice. You want a little, build up. So it's kind of like that.
I have a brother who has he calls it buttering the bread. He said you've got to butter the bread.
I like that.
So.
Yes, because then it can melt and be ready.
That's it.
And then I have the fourth one. It's not so much of like a heat level or whatever, but that one's more, it's magical, like paranormal, like vampires or witches and goddesses and stuff like that. So I like to have a little fun with that too. And that one could that can kind of go across if sometimes it's hotter, like Moonlight, the Order of the Moonlight, the one that's out there. That one has moments that are extremely hot and they're kind of erotic.
All of the Night? All of the Night. It's called, what is it called?
Oh, sorry. The Order of Moonlight? It's the one that the order of it. So because it deals with
Okay.
Like the order, how you hear, the order, like almost like a nun kind of order, like
Oh, is there nuns
like the
in
orders
it?
It's gonna be. I'm kind of giving some spoilers, but down the road it's a little bit different. But there's some nuns, not like it's not sexy nuns or anything like that. Don't get
sexy nuns. Sexy
but
nuns.
it is. It does kind of do a lore of kind of like it kind of gives like some history. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, that sounds really amazing. I'd definitely be interested in that. I like all things of a religious theme because, being not supposed to go for Catholics, but things that have a religious element in horror and romance, are things that I can kind of relate to. I'm not really. I don't know. Like I just sometimes the pagan thing gets a bit too sort of, I don't know, it doesn't have the elements of ritual that that makes it believable to me. It seems a bit too fantasy. I'm listening.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it does. For me, I like to always have it where it can kind of be relatable and realistic and stuff, like when you're looking at it. I mean, although it's vampires and everything else, but I'm still going to bring it from a place of something that is relatable or something that can stand for, like, you know what I mean, like
the suspension of disbelief, just where you can kind of and that's the thing that I found about your book Custom Fit with your female character. She's an assistant for an executive or a female executive. So you have I can't remember her title, but basically she had like
because she has been taken under her wing, and she does
she's her mentor, and that's really like okay. Now in law, I did have a female mentor. She was fantastic, and very straight down the line sort of thing. There wasn't. I mean, there's no romance in law, Lexi, in my world, but in your world there is.
Right.
Yeah. I can't imagine that really.
I started watching at one point.
It's right. I have to watch TV to see that stuff, but the reality to me is, I don't see any of that. It's about as romantic as it gets. Is if some nice barristers, you might have a scotch with them in their chambers, but it's more stress and not romance. in real life. But that's I think that's what's appealing about your stuff is that you and why we like to watch certain things is they take us to a place that that we kind of desire and wish for, and are so removed from reality. And that's do you think that that's the thing about romantic genre that appeals to women?
I think so. I think that it's almost like the road not taken. Like you've been like in a grocery store, well, like a grocery store or like a market or something, and you go there and you think, oh, I wonder what that person's like about, and then I basically just kind of explore, like, what if you did talk to that person? What if you did, kind of drop your inhibitions and you kind of, see, you get a little more bold, or you say, what you're thinking, and I like to do that. I like to kind of just say, okay, so here's a scenario, and what if you just were, you embraced your full your femininity, and you just go, look, I like this person, and let's just do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's more buildup than that, but you get what I mean? Like, that's what I like to explore. I like to still make it where it could be realistic if you both are, older or whatever, but I like to do that. So yeah, it is definitely something that appeals to women. It's something that I like to write books that I want to read. And I'm like, why is this not out there? I like this. Or I read something like that and I really want to see more of that. So I put that out there so other people can have more of that in the space too, for romance.
Yeah. So what do you think, so how do you think guys would be reading a romance novel? Because I actually got into a bit of trouble saying that I don't know too many guys that read romance novels, and I wrote that in my assignment. And my lecturer was right. He was a male, and he's teaching this subject, so he was like, "Well, that's not true. I read romance novels," and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're teaching it, so you kind of probably."
You would be surprised.
The thing is that he actually didn't write romance novels. He wrote something completely unromantic. So it's like, well, why aren't you writing this stuff? But I'm better at arguing than.
Yes, I totally understand though, but you'd be surprised. They always give like these demographics that, oh, men don't really read romance and everything else, but a lot of times if you ask a guy, hey, have you ever read a romance or whatever, and they're like, they read it because they want to understand a lot of, because I was like, okay, so just it's funny you say that, because that came up before, because a lot of people, they talk to me and they go, oh, I really like that, because they feel like it's like an insight into what a woman wants.
Yes.
And so it's almost like a manual for them, they said,
Yes.
And that's why 50 Shades of Grey was so huge too, because women loved it and men loved it, and it was just, everybody was just kind of like, let's embrace it. But I have a lot of male fans. They love the books. They always are like, oh, this and that, and is that kind of realistic or not? Because I'm a talker, so if someone has a question, I'm pretty like an open book. I will talk. I will answer it. I don't have any issues doing that. Like, I think it's really great that men and women can get on the same page, so then maybe romance could actually be like some of those books.
Look, I totally agree. I think that
I do, and some of the things that I've noticed.
I was actually talking.
I know, yeah.
It's actually true, because I mean, men have an idea of. Okay, like even just with presenting yourself, guys as a whole generally tend to be a bit more casual with how they dress.
Oh, kind of just returning to the point. Oh, wait, yeah, I saw that you were gone for a second. I said, oh, let me return to the point a little bit. Like, how you were talking about how men, it's like surprising that they read romance, and I was just gonna say that I was really shocked, because like I went to like a dinner party, and we were talking and everything else, and he's like, yes, I read romance, of course, and they're really passionate about it. They get like yes, it's my thing, I love it, and they start talking about all these books, and it's just like if you're sitting down with any other woman, they know these books, and it's nice to have a nice perspective from the other side. I also know a lot of other male romance authors. That's why they started writing it, because there's certain things they wanted to actually see included, and I kind of make sure that if somebody's reading it, if it's male or female, whoever, they can enjoy the book.
They can relate to it from their perspective. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. It's I like your covers as well. Your book covers are really are really interesting, and I think sometimes like a cover tells a story, doesn't it? It's meant to tell the story.
Yes, it does.
And
I don't know. I will not, if the cover is crap, like it's crap, I will not pick up a book. I mean, it could be the best book in the world.
You're 100% correct,
but
Lexi.
I like to have something that draws you in, and it's like something that's like, ooh, I love this. So like I try to do the cover so you kind of get an idea. Like, you know, when you were talking about the law one, I wanted to put something where it was because the first book in that series is Too Much Trouble. And in that one, she's sitting on the desk and everything else. And I know that we were talking about law and everything else. I studied law for a moment back in college. And some of the instructors and some of the people that you actually meet in law, yeah, they're not hot. But for her, hers, yeah, I'm like, oh, because you know they're
nothing like you know what you see on TV. They're not like that. You know,
there's some guy like you might get into a couple, you know, some people who might go to the gym and they're like, oh, I'm a lawyer, I'm studying whatever. I mean, those are rare. And those are the ones you write about, but the other ones.
That's right. You're actually right. It's not the old bitter drunk lawyers who've been doing it forever.
And so, anyways, with the Too Much Trouble, right?
It's just frozen for a second.
Right.
Okay, so I just paused it. I resumed it because it froze. So with the lawyer one that you were talking about, Too Much Trouble. Okay. So tell me about who are the main. Is she the lawyer or is he the lawyer?
Yes, she's a lawyer. So what happens in that book? Her brother is basically like a con artist, and he like kind of goes around. Like think of The Mentalist, like that TV show, The Mentalist.
Okay. Yep.
So he kind of goes around. Yeah. So he's kind of like her brother is kind of like a con artist, and he gets himself into a little bit of trouble, and she's about to push out as a partner at her firm, and she's been working there for a while, and she's really good with business law and everything else, you know, corporate law.
Yeah.
And so he gets in trouble with this one family because he tries to run the scam on this one guy's younger sister, and then instead of him going to jail, they were looking for a counselor, you know, someone to bring on staff, and she is amazing at what she does, and so she has to end up walking away from partnership and covering her brother's butt so he doesn't have to go to jail. And so the guy that she's working with, he's the two of them have already met coincidentally at a grocery store, and they didn't hit it off there, and then they've met a few different places, but
that's realistic, Lexi.
That's realistic.
I mean, who hits it off at a grocery store?
Yeah.
You know,
and so nobody, right? Well, you'd be surprised. Oh my goodness, I found out.
I have had some interesting encounters
because I researched all this stuff for romance.
I have had an interesting encounter at the grocery store, but it was with a madman. So, like, you know, it was a madman, and
they say that's like one of the most the best pickup spot or whatever, and I'm like, actually I'm just trying to shop. I'm trying to go in there. Please don't. I'm not into that. When I'm in the grocery store, I'm there for business.
That's right. That's right. It's not really. It's probably not the right. It's not that groovy kind of and certainly not with all this COVID stuff going on, is it? You know.
I know you're like flirting through mask. Well, hey, you look kind of good, I guess.
You wouldn't even be able to. You
got nice eyes.
How would they know with the mask on that you're doing that? Yeah,
it could just be like they're thinking, "Oh, you have COVID?
Are you spreading germs? Are you trying to kill me?" I don't know.
I know, right? You're all okay. Hi, but
that's right. That sounds wonderful. I like that you've got all these.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. That'll be the next one that I read then. That one, and the nun one. So I'm assuming that you're going to have some hot priest and a nun. Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but that one's not, it hasn't even told people too much about it. It's just alluded to it because it's a series. So that one's like a short erotic story, and it's just about vampires and everything else. So that one's a vampire romance, the Moonlight one.
Does she turn into a vampire?
So it kind of alludes to it.
Does she turn into a vampire?
Yes. Yes, she might. She may turn into a vampire.
Well, that sounds saucy.
But yes, in that one, yeah, it is. That one is so much fun to write. I have the second one about to come out, so that's one of the books that are about to push out.
Brilliant. When will...
Yes, and so he actually walks into this coffee shop one day for her and invites her to a masquerade party, and it's so much fun to write that.
Is he the vampire? Yes, Rose. Is that you're talking about the vampire?
Yes, he's a vampire. I can say that one for sure.
He is a vampire.
Yeah, the vampire character comes in. Yeah, he's a vampire. Shop. He is a vampire, and
so is he one of those vampires that can be around during the day? So you know how
I don't write it like.
So he's a daytime vampire as well. He's got like a magic ring or something, or there's some story why he can be around.
Something to that effect, because the person. Yeah, he was created by one of the original vampires, so they aren't as weak as the diluted ones. Like, down the road, those people, they need to, but he's not as diluted, so he's more of somebody who has been around for a long time, and so his body has recalibrated to the light, and he's okay with certain things, and he doesn't need as much blood, and he doesn't need, whatever, but he definitely, it's definitely twist in there. There's like a lot of twists. I didn't want to write one that was just what you see all the time, but I wanted to write something that still was within the space,
I really liked I was a big fan of Anne Rice. Anne Rice and her novels. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was a big influencer for me too.
You like her too?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I love Anne Rice. It's slightly different from hers, but I did keep that in mind because I love those books. I love the movies. I loved it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Her writing to me is like, I've read that, and I read the is it Stephanie, the one that does the Twilight things, and I didn't.
Twilight?
Yeah, the writer of that.
The Twilight?
Moya.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer Anne Rice's writing because I think she has. She's just got a better grasp of just history. I think that it's just a bit more intelligent, I find.
Right.
She's a bit more, there's more weight to her writing, I think. And I like her vampires too, because they're, the Twilight thing, I don't mind it, but
I like
Anne Rice is better.
Yeah. Well, see, I loved all that. Like, that's why I wrote about like vampires, because I love vampires. I mean, they're just sexy,
Vampires
and
are sexy.
I feel like you can take a little bit away from all of the genres, because I also like to watch Vampire Diaries. Yeah, they're hot.
Vampire Diaries
it's so nice because there's already an underline of sensual. They're definitely sexy and sexuality and the sensual things and things that you can do with them.
That's it. I really like the Vampire Diaries too, and I was really upset when it ended. And then it was the originals. You know how they went from that to the originals?
Say again? I'm sorry.
You know how after the Vampire Diaries finished, they were starting on the originals.
Can you say again? Like it bleeped out on me because I didn't hear what you asked.
The originals. Can you hear me? Hang on.
A little bit. It's coming back in now.
Okay, after the Vampire Diaries was the originals.
Yes, I love the originals.
I didn't like it.
I love Elijah Michelson especially.
I was.
Well, for me, you didn't like it as much?
Look, honestly, I think my favorite vampire thing would have been True Blood. I really loved True Blood. I thought that was really.
A lot of people
Really love True
I'm telling
Blood.
you, I do the different quizzes. Like I have like a
Have I frozen
see,
for you?
I am like, okay, so I have not, that one I have not caught up on. Like,
Okay.
you froze?
Am I okay now? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. It's just you're frozen still, but I can hear you. No, there you go. You're moving. All right. So yeah, but as far as True Blood, I have not watched that one so much. And I have seen a few things, and I believe because I write about vampires, a lot of my readers, they always give me feedback, and they're like, we love True Blood and this and that. So I was like, okay, so I'll have to look at that, because I like to incorporate and kind of keep along the same lines as other vampire writers and everything else. But I am a huge fan of Twilight. I am a huge fan. I love all of them for what they are. The thing I love about Twilight is I feel like because there's so many different vampire couples, I like how it expresses that there's more people than one person ever who can have that true love. And I really like how they have them like that. Like all of them have found their perfect person. And I really like that. But that element I love. Some of the communication breakdowns in there, I'm like, what is happening? But of course, it's a challenge when you're writing to make them interesting and realistic, and not like where your reader goes, oh, I hate this. Like, why did they do this? All of a sudden they just got dumb. Like, I try to keep that in mind when I write, because if it's not believable, like, like the conflict between them, then it's, then you're just going to be like, why did I read this? And I don't want that, because I have that feeling as a reader sometimes, and that's just like the worst. So I try to keep that in mind, make sure that the conflict is realistic and something that could happen. Just like the meeting, it needs to be a little more realistic too, or else you're just gone.
It's it's interesting that you say that. It's I guess also with vampires, there's been kind of cheers, by the way. Cheers.
Yes. Cheers to you, darling.
You just paused for a minute there too. What I was going to say is there's been a bit of a theme with vampires. The trend has been to do this hybrid thing with vampires and werewolves, creating a hybrid, and it's like, oh, okay, it's. I think if they kind of kept it clearer, it's. I don't quite know what they're trying to do with that, because it's like, we like the vampires because they're vampires. We like the werewolves because they're werewolves. Once you start bringing both of them together, it's just, can you imagine, like,
I think,
because we were all used to the character of, like, Bram Stoker's Dracula turning into a bat. So can you imagine what that would look like as a hybrid, flying some kind of mutant werewolfy bat?
He's a puppy.
Flying out of the castle, probably fall down to
it's like this little puppy running around. It's yes.
Look, I'm a big fan of the traditional the traditional vampires, because it's just I like that, and I believe that Anne Rice has done it very, very well to kind of bring vampires in a realistic way. That's why I like her. And I like True Blood.
Yeah.
True Blood really pushes the envelope, and it's very different. Like with these vampires having their own car, and and their town and stuff. I mean, I liked a lot of it. The end, not so much. But they had to end it, I guess, for whatever reason. Would you, with the stuff that you're doing, can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you see it becoming something that's visual, like something that a producer would be interested in, or have you thought about that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have. I mean, because in the back of your mind, I think every author might think about that. But of course, when you're writing it, you're just kind of thinking, oh, these characters are taking shape. It's all this beautiful stuff. But then you are thinking, but visually, I don't want to write it where it's just so whatever. Like, I want to put some imagery in here and some things that are going to be visual. So if they want to make this into something, people can visually see this on screen, you know, because a lot of times when you jump across, you know, like when we are on social media, some people might like Instagram or some people might like Twitter. That's like, some people might not love the traditional book. They might like an audiobook. They might like seeing a movie or something. So I keep that in mind because it's got to translate across the audiences. So yeah, definitely I think about that.
Yeah, that's really intelligent that you think like that. I think as an author, you are an intelligent woman anyway, but most women are.
You too.
Thank you.
Cheers again, babe.
Cheers. This is just a little bit of alcohol. It's only like a pink Moscato I'm having. You're having a protein. You're doing a protein shake?
Oh yeah. Yes, I'm having, it's a nutrition shake. Basically, it's just, it gives you your veggies for the day. That's kind of dumbing it down, but it gives you your veggies for a day and answers any nutrition that might be out of balance. So it's just, and it's refreshing. It's really good. So that's why I love having that. And it also helps you to let go of things that you don't need that are toxic in your body. So it's kind of a cleanser at the same time.
It's a cleanser. That's great. Oh, you have to tell me about that, because I sometimes like to have shakes too, because if I don't, it's just the easiest. I like things that are water-based, so things that I can just add water with. I don't, not so much milky stuff, because it can upset my stomach. So, I
definitely, I get that. This one, I made this actually with a tea. So this one I just did with, like, I just put like tea as the base today. It's just like a non-sweetened tea. I just put tea in there because it gives it like a nice flavor as well. But I mix it with water, tea, or I found that coconut milk is very pleasant, you know, and it just keeps it kind of neutral, but it gives it like a nice natural sweet to it. So so I get what you mean totally. But I mean, as far as milk,
I like coconut milk, and I like almond milk too.
I have a slight allergy to nuts, so that I don't really do that.
Yeah, it's not like milk. It's not like milk. You know, I only like milk in my tea and coffee. You know, it's
Yes. Speaking of tea, I love milk teas. Those are so delicious. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that in there. Those are so good.
I'm an English breakfast tea girl, and I just started getting into hibiscus tea and different kind of organic teas.
Yes, delicious.
With passion fruit and rhubarb and different things, because I'm trying to lower my high blood pressure. So apparently that helps. So it's we'll see if it does.
It does help. There's like a lot of natural things, and there's a lot of natural things that you can do to really make sure that everything balances out. And because like I do coaching like for nutrition and stuff like that too, which is fun, just because I was if I'm doing something, I like to also pass the knowledge. So basically that's how I kind of also why I write when I do fitness. I was like, like a friend of mine was like, hey, you these are different things that you can whatever, and then I started being really good at knowing the information, so I just pass it on now.
I think that's brilliant. And I started also following you on YouTube, and I like your videos too. It's really, I really like the intro that you've got. It's really good, and I think it's and there was one of the tips that, so you do these tips sometimes, and there was this one tip with the red lipstick under the that actually works.
I know, isn't that wild? That is crazy. So wild. Like, I love playing with makeup. I know, because when I saw that, I was like, okay, this looks far out. I don't know.
Nobody ever tells you that. It's like, nobody has ever told me, try red lipstick. Because we're all taught to get concealer,
right?
With these greens in it. But it's like, of course, the red would counteract it, because, and it does work.
It balances out the purple and the stuff that's underneath, you know, the dark circles. So when you put that red on it, it already covers it, and you don't need any, like, a lot of foundation at all just to make it look like that. I still use concealer anyway, but I love that trick because it just makes you look brighter, and I'm awake.
It's a good trick. I
like that.
Another trick.
That's what I saw, and I saw like the coffee filters and a few other things. I love that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen that one. Oh yes. Coffee and another use for, well, this is actually, you know, your tomato sauce, like Heinz tomato sauce. You call it, I don't know, or ketchup. Ketchup. If you put that in your hair, it gives it like a nice warmth. It just tones it down without having to put product. I actually tried that. I know that you didn't say that. Somebody else did.
I'll see.
Oh. I've tried that before. That works too. Just to get.
I know, but I'm going to definitely include that. I love new tips. I love passing on like practical things people are going to be able to
try it. Just get a strand.
I'm gonna try it.
Just get a strand and put tomato sauce
and just put it on.
Yeah.
And
I found that I had to leave it on for like an hour. It'll change the color, but it's funny because my brother was having a meat pie, and we eat a lot of meat pies in Australia. Meat pies. And we add like ketchup to that. And he was having it that night, and I didn't know that. I put too much in. And he was like, "You don't eat sauce. Like, how come, where's my sauce gone? It was there yesterday." And I'm like, "Oh, I put it in my hair." But yeah, I sometimes the things you pick up on YouTube are actually better.
Yeah, they're like game changers. I mean, like there's so many different things. Like, I love your channel too, and I just wanted to say again, it's just such an honor to be on here with you, and it's just fun hanging out with you. I mean, you are just one of those beautiful, amazing like human beings, and you're just the sweetest and everything else. And it's just nice that I could stop by, and anytime you need me to stop by, because I know that I watch your different the different ones, and I know that there's one time that you had somebody who dropped out and then you got them back in or whatever. But if you ever need somebody to stop in, I'm having such a wonderful time. I'll always stop in and help out. All right.
Oh, Lexi, thank you so much for saying that.
Love what you do.
I'll definitely have you on again. Especially like maybe to go through your books.
This is so fun.
I really do want to be able to read more different things. The horrible law stuff I've been reading that I hate for academic purposes. I mean, I really want to get more into
No worries.
I don't want to read any more legislation. I've had enough.
One thing that, since you do like custom fit, I just wanted to say that one was so much fun to write. Like I got to do my whole right.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's all right. It'll pick up. Am I still frozen?
There you go.
Technology. Is it okay?
See, it just froze again, but now it's.
All right. Well, I can see you and
I can hear you fine though.
Yeah, that's all right. Just well, what I might do is we might how about we stop this interview and we'll pick up at another time.
Okay.
And we'll do it.
It's totally fine. I just want to say it one more time too. Oh my God, you always make me smile, and I'm so happy I could pop by because you are the sweetest thing.
Lexi, you are so sweet too, and I absolutely adore you. And I was just really like, I really like your energy. Your energy I just felt it straight away. And it's like, I like this girl because I don't read everything and I don't listen.
Agreed. You have like the best energy.
I get my energy, and it's.
I don't know. It was just so nice. It's like rare when you can find somebody and you mesh.
Me too. I feel that same way about you.
Yes, me too.
I thank you so much for doing this and for joining. And I'm glad that we connected like this. And I'm going to be doing more reading and pick up the romance thing because I think we could do a romance series with you if you're interested.
Oh, of course, definitely.
That would be great because I've only kind of just finished doing some massive writing with my masters, and I had to do I had 3 assessments, 2 3,000 word things. I had a 4,000 word thing. Plus, I had to do a discussion written discussion, and I had like 13,000 words to do in a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been, my brain is just small stuff, and I just, it'll just be nice to do so, to be able to read for pleasure as opposed to reading for pain, because it's painful.
Right. Well, it is some of the stuff it gets
more.
So detailed and it gets a little painful.
It's not fun.
Yeah, but I mean, but then the one good thing is it's all going to apply to something you're going to need. And so then that's going to be worth it. Because in the weirdest times, like that stuff that seems like it's so mundane, like you're going to be reading it and you're going to, oh my God, this really is helpful. Down the road, just something randomly. And you're like, oh, I read that.
Oh, it's definitely helpful.
So it's all worth it. But right now it's painful.
It's definitely helpful. It's just a different kind of reading though for me, because it's legislation and cases and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all. Whereas like reading for pleasure, like your things they're pleasant. I feel better afterwards. I don't get high elevated stress. I should actually get a machine and test myself.
Right.
I bet you I'm going to go from 175 over 114, which is what I am with law, and I'll probably get down to something normal, like 130, you know, over 80 or 70, you know, because I can just tell with how I feel that, it's just something that's pleasant to read is really helpful to me, and I think it would be, I think a lot of people would feel that way too. So I thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you so much for being able to write things that that are really groovy and, you know, and fantasy. And
thank you so much. Like that means so much to me, because like you can sit down and write, but then when you have that kind of energy coming back, when I have like my different readers, like one thing I love is like with my newsletter, I actually have an opportunity to kind of dive in and actually talk to people and get to know people better and like learn their families and the situations. Like I have different military people that I talk to. I have people that might be ill and they're going through some stuff and they say that the books help them escape from that. Yeah. There's some people who are inspired and they might have been in some bad situations and they're all, because of something I said, it kind of helped them shift something in their life. And that's what I want to do, because I love being able to share my story, their story, and little pieces of, I like to throw little pieces of me into the stories, because it's just stuff that I learned and stuff. Yeah. So thank you so much for saying that, sweetie.
Beautiful. And I adore you. And, you know, and that's why it's like, I've got to have Lexi. I'm going to invite this wonderful lady to join me, because she's just beautiful energy. And I love that. And I know, I know that. I mean, I hope that, and I'll try to help, you know, so that people get to know you more, and read more.
Thank you. Same here.
It's great. Well, I'll say good night.
I'm excited. I'm about to go to audio. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers, honey.
Fabulous evening.
There you go. Oh, you're so lucky. Like here, they're just opening the nails back up. And so I love your nails. They're always beautiful, sweetie. I'm like, oh, I'm living through you. I'm living through you because I need to get mine done again.
Look, one of them actually moves. How about it? It just.
But right now they're closed, you know?
I've got so much going on with them. See, it moves. It actually.
Oh,
my nails have more fun. I've got some jewelry there.
Yes.
They've got a life on their own.
A little bling going on.
I should write a book about my nails. But I won't.
There you go. It's coming. It's the next one.
Who knows? I'll see you soon, Lex. Bye.
Okay. Bye, honey.